Final Fantasy XVI, a game Final Fantasy fans have been waiting a long time to play. This game will take you on an epic adventure that'll help you travel across many different landscapes, all of which I think are really cool and beautiful. They did a really good job creating some of the areas and landscapes in this game. Some of the zones you go into that really capture that grand and epic scale, they'll just make you say holy shit when you enter them for the very first time. So this game has a pretty clear gameplay loop that follows, and it's pretty consistent throughout the entire game. You start doing some big crazy epic story related events, then you're back in the main hub and you're picking up one or two side quests and doing some filler like events. Usually lasts for about an hour or two before you head back out to go do some other really big story related stuff. So some of these in between moments feel really boring. Seem like they're just there to pad the game time out a little bit. I think this game would have really benefited from being shorter, and instead of having you run around buying garlic, other miscellaneous events that just, like I said, really seem like they're there just to pad the game time out and make the game longer. Sometimes they feel really disruptive to the flow of the story, and I caught myself barely paying attention sometimes, or just straight up losing interest until the story really started getting moving again. Don't get me wrong, I really did enjoy the game, but it was when the story and game were actually moving along and all the crazy epic battles were happening, and it feels like sometimes it just grinded to a halt for no other purpose than to drag the game time out a bit. But when you get to those big crazy icon battles, it really is just some epic badassery, man. These moments really sell the game. Now to get a little bit into the combat of the game, it's a pretty standard hack and slash type of combat, but you could probably complete 90% of the game just using square to attack and R1 to dodge. You'd be doing yourself a huge disservice. There's a tree where you can spend ability points to get a huge variety of different abilities and magic, which really makes the combat evolve. And as you beat on enemies, eventually you will stagger them, which opens up a window where you want to try and pump out as much damage as possible. The skills you get and the magic you get are really fun to use. You can do some really cool combos with them to output a massive amount of damage. The game lets you reset your ability points and spend them to new magic and skills whenever you want. I would really recommend experimenting and finding cool combos and abilities to try to output the highest amount of damage you can during the stagger windows. Moving on to the exploration aspect of the game, it has some really big maps, but it still manages to feel linear, as there usually seems to be a pretty straight cut path where you need to go, and parts of the map are sometimes locked till later in the game. There is a lot to explore on some of these maps, with treasure chests everywhere, but the rewards for exploration are often pretty mild feeling and underwhelming. Let me go ahead and put those sharp fangs in my giant pile of other sharp fangs. You'll notice that most of the chests throughout the game will just give you these crafting mats that you already have stacks into the thousands of. Every now and then though, you'll come across a chest that will give you a slight upgrade, or something that is actually useful. Sometimes even some cosmetic items like a music roll, but unfortunately there aren't a whole lot of chests that will give you anything worthwhile, it feels. Now there is a crafting and progression system in the game. It feels very underwhelming and just kind of tossed in the game though. Every now and then as you progress through the game, you can upgrade your gear to the next level or get some new equipment, but it doesn't really feel like you are ever getting stronger. Everything seems to always die at the same speed. The game seems to lock you into a set pace and power level by design. And for a Final Fantasy game, this was a very weird feeling, because usually there's clear power spikes you can get or you can over level, but in this game it feels like the RPG elements are just kind of an afterthought, and they're just put into the game just to be there, but they don't really seem to serve much purpose. All in all, this game delivers a really cool story with a lot of crazy and epic moments in a big, beautiful world. But under it all, there is a lot of bloat and underdeveloped RPG elements that really bring it down. I think the game should have focused more on their strong points like the crazy story and not blatantly trying to drag the playtime out with mundane and boring quests in between all the cool stuff. But it's still a really good game and I enjoyed playing it a lot. If you are a Final Fantasy fan, definitely check it out. And thanks for watching.